Out of everything that you like studied, why did you go with magic instead of going with another religion or kind of practice?
Dude, I want to throw fireballs out of my hands. Come
For
on,
sure.
come on, which one sounds cooler? Like, oh, I want to be a Franciscan monk, or I want magic powers. I mean, like, which one is going to impress people more? You know, like, let's be honest. I was 17. I wanted to impress girls.
Awesome.
I'm not interested in religion as dogma. I'm interested in the field of the non-physical, of spirit, of meaning, of what people call religious experiences, basically without somebody telling me what to do. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. And a bit of a clumsy metaphor I've been using recently is think about it like the gym, going to the gym. So you want to work out, you want to exercise, you want to improve your physical health and strength. Okay, so you go to a gym and you pay a fee and they have all the machines there. But you have to go to the gym to use the machines. And you have to use them to their rules and how they want you to use them. And you have to listen to the terrible music they're playing. That's a metaphor for religion. You go to the church and you have to deal with all their nonsense. You try to get to something which is at the end of the day a very personal experience. So with magic, essentially what I'm saying is build your own gym at home and have the experience and forget the priests and people telling you what to do and the politics and the dogma and the war and all this crap from religion. I don't care who you are. Every single human being on earth has a need, and I mean a need, not a want, practically a biological need for connection to something higher than them, something that we would traditionally call the spiritual or the religious. But the other businesses in town who've been trying to fill that need are kind of shitty and are past their sell-by date. Not to be a dick, but I'm disrupting their industries. So
I've heard a lot of your podcasts. You describe magic different every time you try to describe it. How would you
that's on purpose. That's on purpose.
How would you describe it this time?
I think that the way that I would describe it now is the belief that it somehow, what is our internal state, whether that, meaning what we're thinking, what we're focusing on, the emotions we're feeling on a day-to-day basis, in some way influences the external world in a non-direct way, in an indirect way. If you spend a whole year focusing on becoming a great basketball player, chances are you're going to be a lot closer to that goal than someone who didn't think about that at all. So that's a very tangible example of what I'm talking about. Now that can go from something as simple as scoring basketball points to shaping your entire life, your entire reality, turning your existence into exactly what you want it to be, not what somebody else wants to be. Because of electronic media, we have the ability to let other people think for us. And notice I'm not saying that like other people are forcing us to think like them, because that's not what's happening. We have the option now to allow other people to think for us if we want. And this turns out to be a very popular option. Any political idea we have, or belief, or religious belief, or belief about reality, someone online is going to validate it. We have the ability to let almost anyone in the world do our thinking for us. Now, the good part about that is now we can collaborate and see what everyone else is thinking. The bad part is harder than ever to think for yourself, despite having more information than ever. This is more important than ever because, as we know, what we think and focus on will determine where you live. It determines the quality of your life. And over a long enough time scale, I mean, it's not instant, can move you in dramatically different directions. In a sense, you could say we're all doing magic all of the time. We just need to take conscious control over it and understand that we are always shaping our experience. And we can do it without spiritual or cosmic or supernatural language. And it's best that we do it that way, I think.
Now, when I watched your videos and podcasts, then I went, this sounds very awesome. But then I went on the internet and searched up magic, and then so many options and practices came up that it's so overwhelming that it's like, where do I even start?
Yeah, and you wonder, I ended up with this job. Yeah, it's
crazy.
Right. I mean, this is why I've ended up being forced to create Magick.me and write my book, because like the information is garbage. It's not even that it's so much information on the internet. It's that most of it is bad information.
Okay.
I will give you a general guideline on how to approach this stuff. Read academic books on the subject. Oxford University Press does good stuff. If anyone who is actually serious about this material, if you want to study the Western tradition, it's go to the Golden Dawn, the primary sources. But in general, read academic texts, because they'll give you a sense of what is actually real and what's not. And they will err on the side of boring and non-supernatural, right? But that's good, because you want a sense of what's real. The non-boring stuff will occur in its own on its own without you chasing it if you are sincere. This is why I created Magick. So Magick.me is my school for magic, meditation, and mysticism. www.magick.me. And we have everything there, from chaos magic to hermeticism, yoga, astral travel, everything.
Do you have like a single practice for people to do to like get introduced, like hands-on magic?
Sure. Well, meditation is always the answer to this. I know that's not a very glamorous answer. I'll show you something though that you can take away and that people can experience firsthand on the video. Can you think of a memory in which you were embarrassed?
Yes.
Okay. Right. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to say.
Okay.
So tell me how you're representing this. Are you seeing this moment?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Are you seeing it like as you're seeing it from your eyes, or as if are you seeing yourself standing in the scene?
I'm seeing it from my eyes,
Is what you're seeing near or far?
It's near.
Okay. Is it bright or dull color?
It's actually bright. Yeah.
Okay. And are there sounds associated with this?
Yeah.
Is it somebody talking or something else?
It's talking and a sound.
Okay, great. And are they loud or quiet?
It's quiet.
Now, if you close your eyes, imagine yourself, you're now in a movie theater. You're still saying the same thing, but now it's up on the screen and now you're in the theater. So you're not in it. You're seeing it go on the theater. Now, already that should feel slightly different. Now, what I want you to do is make the scene far away, like zoom out a lot. So the way you're seeing is very, very small. Turn the color down, dimming it until it's black and white. Turn the sound down until it's quiet. You don't have to change what's being said or the noise, but just make it quiet. Okay. How does this feel now?
It doesn't feel awkward at all.
Indeed, it does not feel awkward at all. And so now bring it back. Now you're right back. No movies theater anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's ultra bright. It's ultra close and it's loud. Turn it up loud, loud, loud. Make it brighter. Okay. How does this feel?
That's horrible.
Okay. But is it as horrible as before?
No, it's not as horrible as before.
Okay, great. So now put yourself back in the movie theater. Zoom all the way back out again. Make it black and white and make it quiet again. Make it quieter than before. All right. Now how does it feel?
Not bad.
Okay. So now let's dial it up again. So now put yourself right back in it. Bright, close up, loud. Crank it up as hard as you can. Tell me how that feels.
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay. So last time it was horrible, but not as bad as before. Can you try to make it horrible? Like, can you dial it up? Can you get to horrible?
Yeah, I can.
You can. Okay. But you had to push it. Okay. But also you're laughing while you're saying that you can.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah.
So now go back to the theater. Make it far away, quiet, black and white. Do you feel any emotional charge at all?
Nope.
Now I want you to take that whole screen, shrink it down to the lower left corner, about the size of a postage stamp, and run that scene all the way backwards in time, all the way to the beginning. Now bring it back up to the screen, full size. Now slap it back down to the postage stamp, run it all the way back to the beginning. And I want you to do that 4 more times, and then you can open your eyes.
That feels not bad at all. Way much better.
How do you feel physically now when you think of this memory as opposed to before?
Not
like,
tighten up at all.
Notice I was about to do this, like I was about to ask you, and you immediately said, yes, I've been tightened up. Okay. Do you think that this would actually have a physiological effect and potentially an effect over health long term? If like there's lots of things that, for instance, thoughts we're carrying around that are causing us to do this.
Yes, I would think so.
But do you think that with sustained engagement in this type of thing that you could potentially end up a completely different person?
Yes, I would think so.
And then end up in situations in life that you never would have otherwise, as if by magic.
I would think so, definitely.
So when we look at fairy tales and we see things about people turning into dragons or frogs turning into princes, all this stuff, all this mythical magic stuff, it's like, yes, all of that is real. It's just kind of like the dialed up anime version of reality. It's like when we're talking about magic, what we're really talking about is belief structures, thoughts, physical responses. In a fairy tale, you would see a magician battling a dragon and defeating a dragon, whereas a real magician might be, for instance, I mean, in a sense, we just battled this embarrassing memory and slayed that memory, right, in the space of a few minutes. Certainly for myself, I have certain memories that are like dragons, that they show up and like all of a sudden I can't do anything because now it's like, God, that becomes obsessing. That's just one one example of essentially what magic is, which is a creative approach to life. And I tend to think of exercises like we just did, which is a type of magic, certainly not the only kind. There's almost infinite types. Exercises like we just did as kind of like getting the ability to have Photoshop for your mind. You should have total cognitive freedom. None of us have the ability to choose what happens out here. And often it can be quite traumatic. But we all, if we gain the tools, have the ability to think, feel, and be whoever we want internally. Now, of course, that has to jibe with reality. You can't just end up in a solipsistic thing where you declare yourself king of the moon and expect everyone to conform to it, as many people seem to think they can do that type of thing these days. But it is an understanding that we have the ability to take responsibility for our own experience.
Awesome.
So that's my definition. And that is the absolute 100% correct definition of music. And if I ever define it again, this is no longer valid.
Cool.